Good day, Skyline. So today we are conducting a virtual interview with the members of Myanmar Student Union, whose families were recently affected by the 7.7 magnitude earthquake. So according to AP News, the number of those who died in the disaster was raised to 3,145 as of yesterday, April 3, 2025. And here are some of the officers and general members of Myanmar Student Union to give their testimonies about it. The testimonies were from their families who were affected in Burma and from their knowledge of what is going on with their government. For the first question, this is directed to the chairperson, Martin Tun. What is the situation in Myanmar right now based on your knowledge?
Um, so we have been sharing the struggles of the people of Burma ever since before this earthquake that recently hit. There have been the military coups since 2021. The people have been suffering under the military dictatorship. And on top of that suffering, on March 28th, around 12 p.m. in Burma, a 7.7 magnitude earthquake hit. Um, yeah, the epicenter is in the central region of Burma, and there were a lot of distractions and lots of lives. And up to this date, reportedly, over 4,000 people have been confirmed dead, and that number has been rising, uh, almost 1,000 every day that passes by. So the people of Burma are in urgent need of our help, like from all over the world. And we can see that people from all over the world are trying to help as well. And then, yeah, we appreciate it. And then we want to invite everyone else to also join this.
Thank you, Martin. Now, how did the government respond to it all? This is a question directed to all of you.
I will answer a little bit. So on the day that the earthquake happened, after 2 hours, the military government they bomb like the villages, and even now they're asking the international aids from the other countries, like financially, materially, but um, not all of like even like a little percentage of them will not be like it's not going to um our people and the affected people by the earthquake.
So the response to the earthquake from the military junta has been abysmal. And as we know, the first 72 hours in an event of an emergency is super critical. And so the people are being neglected and are even um, like even though like there could have been a lot of prevented deaths, you know. And so the response from the international community, however, we have seen like different support, like rescue teams from different countries. Ultimately, it's all hands on deck for like the responders that are on the ground. And as from Myanmar Student Union, which is all part of All Burma Federation of Student Unions, we hope that the aid and the international response will actually affect those who are impacted, which is why we've conducted and launched our fundraiser. And we know that the fundraiser, but doesn't is not separate from the support, not just for the earthquake, but for the forces that are fighting against the dictatorship.
Mhm.
So, as we appreciate and we need to accept all support of humanitarian aid. However, we also want to direct people in support for the people of Myanmar to also work with and collaborate with trusted, reliable organizations such as that of All Burma Federation of Student Unions, who are also collaborating with other progressive forces too that are responding and assessing what's happening on the ground in real time, and that are reporting to us like what are the needs, and yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
it's good that you already met told us a lot of things that they need or like the help that they need for it. But what are the challenges that they are facing at the moment? according to your families who you have talked to in Burma?
Some people became homeless, and the earthquake destroyed their home. Unless their home destroyed completely, they can't stay in their house. So my cousin who live in Mandalay, she can she sleep outside of their house on the street. People are sleeping on the street. Mandalay is pretty hot, and uh at the night there are too many mosquitoes, so they face that too many challenging living at the outside of their house. And also my mom who live in Yangon, she's worrying about the inflation, and also she's cry every night because she worry about the aftershock. And then my family live in the fourth floor, so they're really worry about how they struggle, and then how they run away. And so because my family have the own all of my family are female, including over 18-year-old grandma, and then autistic auntie, and 10-year-old my sister. So she really worried, and too many pressure. She really cry every night when we talk phone. So my family faced too many challenging because of the earthquake. My family live in Yangon, and my cousin live in Mandalay.
Okay, but where are they right now? Since
They're
they
in
have a house.
Myanmar.
No, I mean,
Oh,
are they staying in another apartment or
Oh yeah, my
center?
cousin live in the how can I say, she sleep on the street right now, and my mom decided to move to the other apartment because we are on the fourth floor. That's why last night she called to me, should we move to the other apartment. But because of the inflation and too many price are high, expensive, most of the items are really expensive right now. So she's worried about the money payment rent. She have to rent the apartment, so she really worried about the money.
Okay, yeah. And then what about Islam?
Oh,
that was Isla.
Oh, sorry. What about Angin?
Oh yeah. My aunt like in Mandalay, because Mandalay is very affected like by the earthquake. So and our house was like damaged, and then like the house is not livable anymore, so they have to move to the monastery like nearby, and the whole family and also some of the like the employees. So, and another friend who is also living in Mandalay, she also have to live on the street because the house was not like collapsed, but um the house was like damaged, so it's not safe to live, and more than like 70 like little earthquakes are like still happening, so it's not really safe to live there. And they have the difficulties of like no electricity because they cut off the electricity, and consequently no water, and the weather is really hot there, like the middle part around like 40 degrees Celsius there. So yeah.
Okay. What about you, Win? What is the status of your family right now? Are there any testimonies or like challenges that you've heard from them, Win?
Yeah, there's been, devastating challenges, and we've been receiving photos from them. And then luckily we had internet connection, and like we're able to connect with them, and they showed like the damage via video call. And so they've been evacuated into like a nearby elementary school where a lot of people who are like houseless are now like coming to. And it's not that and it's like that's the location where there's like within the amongst the people where like they're trying to support each other and give each other aid. um And yeah, the damage that we've seen is just a collapse of like buildings, and then very, like fortunately my family's alive. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. And then what are the kinds of help that they need? I know that Win already talked about some of it earlier, but directly from them, what are the kind of help that they need right now?
Yeah, currently, there are lots of help that they are needing right now because at the same time like wars is happening, so they and then also the conscription law. So people like at the nighttime, people the rescues team are not allowed to rescues people who are still stuck under the rubble. And then and also as I mentioned earlier, the weather is hot, so no electricity, no water, no food, and also and then uh we barely know the news what's happening in Zagai, which is like the news are cut off like intentionally by the military. This is like Zagai is also the most affected and bombed like frequently by the military. So like and still like it's been 5 days that like people are still like stuck under those rubble, and then the families are very worried about. And also there are lots of people on the street living because
Mhm.
of like their house, like the like any kinds of people, like people who are like the walkers. And yeah.
Especially water. We need water. And then also there's a lot of dead bodies that are like in the area, and those dead bodies need to folks are doing their best to try and do their
Mhm.
rescue, but um the death toll is rising, and that's that's like an ongoing struggle and challenge.
Mhm.
And so yeah, uh and so water definitely, and then of course people who are they're trying to find, and my family has found like temporary shelter at the moment. And I think right now there's an earthquake, but in during like July we can expect like monsoon season. So that's something that is like of concern as well. Like shelter, water, and like basic needs.
So follow-up question on that. What is happening to the bodies that were being, excavated from the buildings, let's say? Do we have an intel on what they do to the bodies?
I think
Because you said that it's a problem already in the area.
mhm. I think the to be honest, I'm not entirely sure, but the
Mhm.
way I understood so far, according to like the community and the people asking for help, especially in Sagai, what is happening to body, like how they're dealing with it, is that they are not able to deal with it. So the bodies are just there. Some of them are like rotten, and so in Sagai, like the city, which is the epicenter, and which was hit very badly too. The whole city is like overwhelmed by the rotten smell, and that's like a big issue over there too. So yeah, people are urgently like asking for the dead body, how do you say, like body bags and stuff. Yeah, without those supplies, they can't really like deal with them, or yeah, it's been very difficult to.
Yeah, I'm sure because of the smell of the rotten bodies and
Mm-hmm,
ongoing challenges that
mm-hmm.
that are going on right now. So another question is, I know that from the interview last time with Martin, he told us that most of you are here on your own and your families are on Myanmar. How are you affected by it personally at this moment as a student here in Skyline? Okay, can we have Win first to go?
Being like overseas, even though I'm like born and raised over here, I'm definitely impacted by like hearing from what's happening on my like mom's side of the family. And you know, we're just like feeling pretty fortunate, but also like feeling that at least for me, like wanting to do more. And you know, definitely grateful for the support. And then at first was like really alarmed. Yeah, very alarmed. And then I'm hearing stories from like friends as well. Like I also like worried about their families too. And so I think the way a lot of times it's like more harder to speak about like personally how I feel, but I try to like channel it through like action and then finding community and like opportunities to like share how I'm feeling and then what our whole country is going through because I think the earthquake, while it happened and then you know it's the largest earthquake of the century, I've definitely been impacted by the war as well that has been happening before the earthquake, and so the earthquake compounded. It just shows as much as like our country's going through like devastation, we also have an ongoing revolutionary struggle that's happening. For me, I feel very like hopeful and optimistic in that sense because the people of Myanmar are resilient and we've gone through you know multiple like coups and wars, but I believe that like we can help each other, one another, and also you know achieve victory in our revolutionary struggle, and then also yeah, and also bring build with comrades and develop international solidarity along the way. So yeah, I'll pass it to Martin.
Yeah. So from me, I think I shared earlier, but so my relatives are not um living in the most impacted areas, and my immediate family is not even in the country anymore. They are basically like war refugees right now, so they're out of the country in the border regions. So none of my families or relatives are directly or impacted much by the earthquake. But then through news and then as a as the chairperson of the Myanmar Student Union as well, I have heard a lot of different stories from these people and a lot more others. And then I try to you know, figure out what best we can do for them and also for their families. And along with that, like Injin earlier mentioned, there are a lot more people who are like suffering even more, you know. So yeah, just like how Win said, um, there are a lot of these difficulties, but I am also more focused on how we can act on it. There are definitely ups and downs. Sometimes I feel sad, sometimes I feel angry. But I try to channel all those emotions into like what how I can act on it. And then so far, yeah, we've been doing like pen raisings for the people of Burma. And yeah, that how we're able to like directly send it back. And then I also try as much as possible to you know, listen to other people, give as much time as possible, and yeah, understand other people's struggles and stuff.
Okay. And then Anjin and Isa.
Personally, I feel so depressed because every time when I see the social media, I saw how many people that how people dying in my country. So, to be honest, I want to come back to my home and I want to suffer like the situation with my family, but I can't come back to my home country because of conscription law. And then for the financially, even though my uncle support me for the school for my college, but I'm really struggle how to support money to my family. So and and also my friend, other people who go to the who join the college, they can uh they can't even afford for they can't even how can I say um they can't get the money from their country because most of my friend get the financial support from their family from Myanmar, so they have the financial situation really difficult situation, and then so most of my friend take a rest for 1 or 2 semester and they find the job and they really struggle to send the money back to their country.
Hmm, I see. And then, do you have something to add, Engine? Okay, not
Um,
none at the moment.
sorry.
Do you have something to add on that? Are you personally affected by it?
Um, like right now, so far, like, yeah, of course, mental health is like kind of like down because of
Mhm.
it, and then like I'm also like worried about my family too, because my mom is alone there, and like she is also worried about her family, like who was affected directly by the earthquake,
Mhm.
and there are lots of like because most of my relatives are living in like Mandalay, which is like kind of epicenter of the earthquake. So um yeah, and also like conscription law and like the other thing like electricity cut, everything is cut off. So I am worried about a lot of people right now,
Mhm.
and uh yeah, but like here we are here, so we I believe that we can like do like for people from here as much as we can, and we are also like asking for help from the others to support back and to help our people out there.
Can I add some
Okay. Sure.
yeah, and then I'm really worried about my relative who from Sagai because my mom was born in Sagai. So whenever I saw the news from the social media, I can't find the awkward news from Sagai. So I'm really worried and I really feel so sorry for my relative because I can connect to them. I can call and I can get the connecting from my relative. So yeah.
What are the ways that you communicate with them at the moment? Because you mentioned that some of you already communicated with them. So how do you communicate with them?
Before the earthquake, we can communicate with the phone and with social media, but before the earthquake, the guy was bombing and the things too many happening before the earthquake, so the information was cut off in the sky, so I can get too much information and I can get the information from my family, oh sorry, from my relative. So
From okay. Yeah. This discussion is directed mainly to Martin, but also open to all of you. And this is my last question. As an organization, what are the challenges that you're dealing right now, and how are you handling it?
Um, yeah, knowing that some of our like members and the students and youths, even um, those are not members, knowing that they have relatives and families that are impacted, along with um, several many like people of Burma that are suffering. Everyone's wants to like do something to help. And even in terms of like trying to help your own country and your own people, there have been several challenges due to a lot of different things we have already mentioned, like the media blackouts. Isla cannot has a lot of difficulties even to reach out to their relatives. And then even when we do like fundraisings and ways to help in those ways, um, the military junta has been blocking and obstructing a lot of aids. And then while at the same time they're also trying to um, desperately ask for aid from a lot of the foreign and international countries and a lot of other organizations. So we also have to look out for um, how to say that, look out for the obstacles where people might be accidentally funneling money towards the military instead of those monies actually being ended up to help and save the people, right? So for example, the Red Cross in Myanmar is directly governed under the bureaucracy of the military dictatorship, and the executive committee of the Red Cross is like former military generals and people like those. So historically, there was a Nagis cyclone in 2008, and the dictatorship government was also in power at that time. And when there were also like a lot of people like died and stuff, how the military responded is they use it as an advantage to set up an election, and they actually ended up winning in the 2010 election as well, because the people couldn't even like, they were having a hard time to even resist against the military dictatorship. And that was one example, like the military coup in 2021 that we all experienced. That is the core reason that we are out here in the United States, is because of the 2021 military coup, right? But even if you look at that, that was during the time when COVID-19 was hitting Burma like the hardest. That time the people were knocked down by the COVID-19 pandemic, the global pandemic, and the military took advantage of that and the seized uh, control of the whole country in a coup in 2021. So we also worried at the same time how this military junta would react following this natural disaster and crisis too. Also from the way they're already doing it hours after the earthquake, they started bombing like villages and civilians. They kept on going with their agenda. So another challenge is for us to also educate and inform like even the Burmese people and also the international people to, like I said earlier, to not be, like accidentally supporting the military with more money and stuff, and also to educate everyone to understand these historical contexts and to further support the people themselves that are actually helping the people that are in need of help in Burma right now. Um, yeah, so what I just want to say is that it is the people themselves that are actually forced to help the people on the grounds. No, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you mentioned about the bombing that happened
mhm,
after the earthquake. So
mhm.
can you please clarify, are these televised? Where did we get the information that there are bombings that happened after the earthquake?
Oh yeah, these are on different news and outlets as well. I we might be able to look it up and then we can put it in the document for you to like further readings. So we can
Mhm.
probably like centralize some of those more informations, and then we can send it out to you. But yeah, especially in the Sagaing state or region, that has always been the worst region. In terms of like the civil war. I mean, in terms of the casualties by the militaries, like uh, bombings and stuff too. That's from where Isla's like relatives are too. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah. Um,
So any other additional from the group? As members of MSU, what are the challenges that you're facing at the moment, and how are you handling it as an organization? Or how do you guys contribute to it? I'm gonna say.
Sorry, maybe I'll just add a little bit more.
Okay, sure,
Yeah,
sure.
ever since this happened, on the very first day, it was a Friday here, so we were able to call an emergency meeting with everyone. So we were able to share the concerns and conditions from everyone, and then also ideas to how we can act. So, and I think ever since as an organization, this has been one of the most active periods of all of our members as well. You know, everyone's like looking out for each other. Some of the students and youths, like Injin also said, having like mental health problems, looking for, at debts, like it's thousands of debts like increasing every single day. So that's gonna impact these youths. So there are some youths who, yeah, like a lot of youths actually, like, probably suffering from that. And then so I noticed that everyone kind of calling up each other and then like, hey, are you okay? How are you feeling? So I think that's a good example for not just within our membership, but for everyone to look out for, is that to consider if these youths and students are doing okay as well, and to check up and then offer support if you can, of course. And as an organization, we are also like reaching out to the Skyline College as well. And then we've been seeing how, as the school itself could, or even the district could offer support more systematically and with more resources as well. So I would also like to extend that ask and invite here as well. So we need like help with mental health and counselings, and we need help with academic reliefs. And like these students are going to struggle with like the academic and studies as well. And then we're gonna need help with like financial stuffs. So whether it is information or whether it is outright like financial aids, yeah, it's gonna be one thing, like things to look out for as the school and the district and the community. And then if we could also focus on like fundraising efforts together, that would also be splendid as well.
Okay, thank you. Are there any additional from the group?
I guess we wanted to mention, so I think we had like Injime, like Isla, and then I share about like our personal like family experiences.
Mm-hmm.
We really feel like upset and devastated, like it's really real. And I think what Martin shared was important in terms of like the war and like the context of like, while there's the earthquake is happening, there's like um relentless like airstrikes on the military end. And so yeah, we wanted to share that like the neglect of the people in the hands of the junta are like go hand in hand with the devastation that's happening. And then right now, something that's very critical to know too is that there's a call for a ceasefire in order to focus on supporting like the people and the areas in need. And so this should be a common goal for everyone, right? Internationally, locally, from Myanmar people within and then like overseas, is that as we're calling for a ceasefire. But we see that their military has already like violated that. And so they're violating our call to support the people back at home. They're violating like our rights. And yeah, they're violating like the ceasefire. And so we what Martin shared of like, like, yeah, those are like the needs that we really want, is like the support needs. There's also the support that we need for the people back home, like material support for sure, and then also like political support too. Because beyond the earthquake, we know that the recovery is going to be quite some time, and we have to rebuild our country, and that's what we also hope to address, like we're addressing within our organization to share, and then yeah.
Okay, thank you. So thank you so much for joining me today in this interview, Myanmar Student Union. It has been a wonderful opportunity for me and the group to actually ask these questions and ask about the experiences of your family members. Again, thank you so much, Myanmar Student Union. Thank you to Martin, Win, Anjin, and Isla. Thank you for granting us your time to have this interview about what happened in the Myanmar 7.7 earthquake and what is still going on at the moment. So I am your features editor from the Skyline View. This is Cheryl Ann Sanchez with 2. I'll see you in the next one.